Hello everyone, this is the Andrew Dahl aka the German Viking, and today I wanted to cover a New York Times opinion, of course, because this isn't fact, from Fortnite to alt-right. So are really people going from Fortnite to join the alt-right? I mean, everything right of Marx can be labeled as alt-right nowadays, so there's a reason video games are such fertile ground for white nationalist recruitment. Okay. By Megan Condis. Uh, Miss Condis is an assistant professor of game studies and a gamer. Okay. Right. Because we know academia always defends gaming. Let's get one thing out of the way. No, the shooter who live streamed himself killing 50 worshippers in two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand this month was not being serious when he wrote that Spyro the Dragon S3 taught me ethno-nationalism, and Fortnite trained me to be a killer. Well, it's good they actually admit, or this person actually admits that. So I was kind of expecting that these games were getting people to join alt-right and becoming basically the worst people on the planet. So, Hugh, you had me going there for a while. Rather than with this statement, the killer was ridiculing a trope that has circulated in the media increasingly since the Columbine killings in 1999. That video games are capable of brainwashing vulnerable teenagers and turning them into violent sociopaths. Some media outlets have described this section of the manifesto in particular as trolling or as bait. And it is both of those things, certainly. Okay. And yet, as a scholar who studies video game culture, I do want to talk about gaming, because I think it plays a special role as a vector for spreading the messages of white supremacy ideology that lead to violence. Citation needed. And I think it's a conversation that we can have without taking the bait, because this is not about the content of the games themselves, but about the way the culture that surrounds gaming provides particular fertile soil for sowing the seeds of resentment that grow into hate. Citation needed. Modern internet-based recruitment efforts are designed around the creation of a frictionless pipeline that slowly inoculates potential converts to hate, like putting a bunch of would-be Pepper the Frogs in a slowly boiling pot. Oh boy, yeah, because Pepper the Frog is. Oh my god, just repeating NPC talking points here, are we now? Rather than waiting for targets to find them, recruiters go to where targets are, staging seemingly casual conversation about the issues of race and identity in spaces where lots of the disaffected, vulnerable, adolescent white males tend to hang out. Okay, come on. Okay, how are you proving this? Where are the citations for? These are just assertions. I mean, the only thing that's linked is basically to Pepper the Frogs, which has nothing to do with your assertion so far. And disaffected, vulnerable, adolescent white males tend to hang out. Like, so women don't play games, and it's not dangerous for them to be on the internet or play games. Why? After just be critical, why? Why is it that vulnerable for white males to actually play games, to play online? How are they getting recruited? You have to prove this. Those who exhibit a curiosity about white nationalist talking points or express frustration with the alt-right's ideological opponents, such as feminists, anti-racism as activists, you mean Antifa. And almost everyone's position on the planet, or at least most, is anti-racism as default. When you have to go out and say you're anti-racist and basically bash people over the head to tell them they're wrong, is basically fascism at that point. That's not anti-racism. And these people went to Portland and basically called slurs to black police officers. And why are feminists a protected class? Feminists aren't all women. You're conflating this. And social justice warriors are then escorted through a funnel of increasingly racist rhetoric designed to normalize the presence of white supremacist ideology and paraphernalia through the use of edgy humor and memes. So, humor and memes are what's representing white supremacy. You know, that's what the left always used. The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. That's what the left always had, was humor, television, entertainment. And now you're saying that social justice warriors, if you criticize social justice warriors, feminists, or anti-racism activists, you're basically a white nationalist. Yeah, good luck proving that. Again, no citation. Of course, video games aren't the only places online where these conversations are taking place. Social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube also come commonplace. So why isn't this a problem for women? But video games in particular make it for an ideal recruiting venue. Why? Because they come equipped with an easy to understand narrative of an unwelcome invasion of our spaces that in the right hands can readily expand beyond the world of gaming. That's just a word soup. What is that supposed to mean? That's just words that don't mean anything. So it's a recruiting venue. How? So surveys show that in the United States, gaming is not dominated by people who of one race or gender. So again, why is gaming in particular an issue? You always claim that majority of gamers are women, but it's men who are vulnerable and getting recruited. That doesn't make any sense if we're following your... Or is it that hardcore gamers are 7-1 men, basically, and men like to have their own space and compared to women? Women do other stuff. That's just biology and choice in general. Jesus Christ, I thought you were for this. But the stereotype of the hardcore gamer as a geeky adolescent straight white male still persists within our culture. Because it's true. The average gamer is a 32-year-something male. So in the United States, that would be majority male, white males. So, again... And white nationalist recruiters are great at exploiting it. How? How are they good at exploiting what? Oh, here we go. As events like the 2014 harassment campaign Gamergate apply demonstrated, a citation needed for any of your assertions in that sentence. Harassment campaign, wham, debunked this, FBI, debunked this. To some members of the gaming community, the increased visibility of people... You haven't heard of Not Your Shield, haven't you? And there are a ton of trans people that I still talk with today from Gamergate. There's still gay people, bisexual people, minorities. And frankly, I don't give a damn what people's skin color is. But you have such a skew, people like you, on that it's so important about that people of color, women, and LGBTQ people have to be included in everything. I just watched a video from Aiden Paladin, and she went through I think it was an hour video of basically breaking down of is representation important, and the answer is no. She goes through, for example, in the Hispanic community, if they watched something on TV and they saw themselves represented, they didn't want to identify with that because they didn't care. Men and women didn't care what they were portrayed as, as long as the movie was good. I mean, Jesus Christ, people. It's 5 years since Gamergate, and we still can't get over the goddamn fact that you're still lying about something as small as Gamergate. Jesus freaking Christ. People in gamer circles are seen less as an expansion and more as a hostile takeover. Yeah, because you lied. The gaming journalists lied. Then you search yourself in gaming development, and when people don't like it and say it's identity politics, you claim harassment and sexism or racism, xenophobia, whatever. And then when people call you out for it, you basically play the victim. This just goes over and over again. And when people don't buy your games, you're out of the job eventually. Get woke, go broke. White supremacist recruiters have recognized this feeling of resentment bubbling up and pounds seeking out gamers who fit the stereotype. They tell those gamers that they really do represent the rightful majority within their community and that all others are either opportunistic fakers only pretending to be into games or intruders trying to ruin everything fun and unique about gaming culture with their insidious political correctness. See, I will actually give her this. See, she's partially right, but it's just a certain type of people. Everyone is welcome in gaming. Everyone can buy a PC, a phone, a PS4, Xbox One, Switch, whatever, and play games. And you can play completely offline, never interact with any other players, and just have fun. Nobody is stopping anyone. So what is this that people are stopping people of color, LGBTQ, women, etc. And this political correctness comes from the media, and it comes from certain developers preaching on this pedestal, looking down as us peasants. And when we say we don't like this, we're called all these things, Nazis, etc., which I've been in the past. Planting the seeds of this narrative is the first step toward cultivating the us versus them. No, it's not us versus them. You make the us versus them. Because I didn't care about any of this until you attacked my video games. Jesus freaking Christ. I didn't care about any of this crap. And you, time after time, try to shove this down my throat. And when I give you the middle finger or tell you to go elsewhere, you make this, it's we are the bad people. So go screw yourselves. According to Christian Picciolini, a former white supremacist recruiter and a co-founder of the non-profit organization Life After Hate, this this type of rhetoric can help create politics of entitlement and resentment organized around a race. So an anecdote. That's your proof. So if a young white man can be convinced that gaming belongs to him, it belongs to everyone. To him, and that is on the verge of being taken away, he might be more easily. I mean, are we just going to ignore all the games that are going to be censored? PS4, Sony just made an internal a policy change where the games are going to be more child friendly, basically censoring games. There are games being censored left and right, and it's the political correctness taking over. But you don't mention this, curiously, because you're taking games away from people who want to enjoy these games. Well, why don't you just fuck off and let people play their games? I'm getting really frustrated about this nonsense, really. He might be more easily persuaded to accept similarly structured argument about, say, the dangers of allowing non-white immigrants to take over the country under the noses of real immigrants. Newsflash, I'm not American, and I don't give any crap about this non-white immigrants. Jesus freaking Christ. If I play with someone online, I don't give a damn about the race. Jesus Christ. And I don't even care if they're American or not. In posts in the gaming section of the explicitly white nationalist message board Stormfront, okay, so you're gonna go to the Nazi website and basically say, we're gamers. Jesus freaking Christ. Message board Stormfront, participants debate among themselves about which mainstream game releases are the most amenable to white power ideology. Just let them do this. They're not hurting anyone. Jesus Christ, just let them. I mean, they're fringe group. Just let them. They exchange links to service on free chat platforms like Discord for whites only, and to groups dedicated to white nationalism on Steam and on online gaming stores. In the wake of the scathing news coverage, Steam and Discord have made efforts to try to get rid of this content. Why? Just let them. And Jesus Christ. We have the black separatists doing the exact same thing, but that is allowed. Black separatists, that the SPLC is listed and ADL listed as the biggest chunk of hate groups in the US. But you just ignore that. People with this type of ideology have also taken to creating white supremacists games of their own, either by creating explicitly neo-Nazi themed modifications of popular titles like Doom, Counter-Strike, and Stellaris, or developing their own indie titles. A few standouts in the category, like the titles like Ethnic Cleansing, which allows gamers to play as a skinhead or a Klansman while participating in a race war, and a Muslim massacre. The game of modern religious genocide, which encouraged players to take control of the American hero and wipe out the Muslim race. Yeah, well, nobody's buying that game. I'm just telling you right now. That's never going to be a AAA game. So we've been, gaming culture is being exploited by white supremacist recruiters. Where do we go from here? So just let them create their games, and nobody's going to buy them. You have SJW games like Rev 660, and that's the most SJW game, and Depression Quest, whatever. And they can create these SJW-friendly games, feminist-friendly games, all they want. But just don't force it down my throat in established titles, in established franchises, and just change the game. Because you get triggered by people enjoying something. Just let them do their own, and stop forcing it down our throats. I'm just getting sick of it. It can be tempting to write our video games as a toxic hotbeds of hate. Why? Well, why is it too tainted for the uninitiated to engage with? Well, but this would be exactly what extremists like the New Zealand shooter want. Despite the enormous popularity and profitability of the video game industry, gaming culture still operates in the shadows. Most media pay Are you serious? Most media pay almost no attention to it. That's all you goddamn do. Polygon, Kotaku, GameSpot, IGN, Rock Paper Shotgun. All these websites crapped on gamers for years and still continue to do so. Are you serious right now? Almost no one pays attention to this. Go screw yourself. All these websites do is crap on gamers. Even though the global market for video games is currently larger than those for movies and music combined, the inattention signals that gaming is a real special place outside the mainstream that could indeed, with enough outright hostility, be made to belong to a particular group. So let me get this straight. The biggest industry in the world, and it's gonna be run by white supremacists. How? How exactly? So if just a certain type of game is being made, the whole entire industry collapses. You do realize this. Because white supremacists are a vast minority in the world. So if these games that you mentioned earlier are so popular, why aren't they talked about in the same breath as Zelda? Or the other games, God of War, Mario, Call of Duty, Battlefield, etc., etc. Why has no one heard of these games? Because no one buys them. But this signal is compounded because our unwillingness to pay attention to this influential medium means that video game industry has next to no incentive to take responsibility for the social spaces that it fosters. Our failure to take games seriously provides the companies in the games industry an excuse not to invest time, effort, and money that would be required to moderate their communities properly. There will always be dark corners of the internet for neo-Nazis to hide and recruit from. Yeah, but let them then. The best disinfectant is sunlight. So let them spew their ideology instead of banning everything. Jesus Christ. There will always be those who claim that gaming isn't for everyone. Yeah, but let them then. Nobody's stopping you from playing games. We can insist that the companies that control gaming spaces recognize that this community comes with extremism and dangers, and that gaming is large enough that these companies need to behave as responsible actors. We can only help to reshape and reform these community from within. Why? What's wrong with them right now? Overwatch and the Blizzard are basically using guilt by association by banning people for posting things on other platforms, and the OK hand signal is a bannable offense. Are you serious? If we turn away, we risk abandoning one of the world's largest entertainment and communication machines to those who would use it for evil ends. Well, it wasn't Google their motto, "Don't be evil," and they're censoring people left and right. Jesus Christ, this is a garbage article with full of assertions with just one citation. Oh my God, this is just a garbage take on crapping on gamers. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.